Got to get everything set up. Let's get some lights on. Let's get some lights on. Let's get some lights on. Cool music. I don't know if Mr. Bean or Dr. Singer turned it on, but I'm liking this. This has a nice groove to it. Oh, hey, Dr. Singer. You like this music? Well, I know you're as good of a dancer as Mr. Bean. You've made that point several times to me. But I didn't know you liked this kind of groove music. This is sweet. All right, I'm going to bring the camera out a little bit. Let's see what we have going on here. We have an unboxing. We don't know exactly what's in there, do we? But we did source this for a customer. I'm going to move you back by Mr. Bean just to keep you safe. I know you're not a baby. So as we're listening to this cool groove music, well, we were listening to some cool groove music, not anymore. But this particular machine that is in this box was sourced for a customer. Again, if one of the contacts that I get during the week is specifically centered around an interest in a machine that I don't have in my personal collection, it's been sold, it's been traded, I simply don't have it, then what I offer to do is I will, on behalf of that customer, go out to my collector friends, I'll go out to other venues that I trust, and I will go through a vetting process and source the best possible make and model of that machine of interest to that customer. And I do that for just a very, very modest fee. Since I invest several hours, I just ask for a very modest fee to cover my cost in vetting a machine like that and sourcing it and then getting it. I kind of prepay it and it gets shipped directly to me at the workshop. And again, my process of vetting a machine isn't just, so does it run? Does the balance wheel turn? Does the needle thingy go up and down and up and down? No. I go through about 80 plus questions, 80 plus questions with that particular seller. And it might even be a trusted seller that I've used multiple times. Like my friend out in New York, Paul. I've bought a ton of machines from him over the years, but we go through the same dance every single time. He knows, and he respects it, and he would do the same thing with me if he were sourcing a machine in my personal collection that one of his customers needed. He goes through a very detailed vetting process as well. Not quite as detailed as mine, but it's very thorough. And it's okay. You know, it's like Ronald Reagan used to say in relation to folks that were both enemies / allies. He would say, trust but verify. And so I do the same thing when I'm sourcing a machine, like this one in front of you right now in this box that I sourced for my friend Sandy, who lives out in Arizona. And Sandy reached out with a very specific need, and I couldn't meet it. I did, well, that's not entirely true. I did have a machine in my personal collection, but she was looking for something that was really aesthetically very pure, and the one that I had in my personal collection would have needed a lot of restoration, a lot of restorative work to the paint, pretty much down. I would have to go down to bare metal. And I said, you know, if I can get a machine that's reasonably clean, the decaling on the machine is you know, intact, and it looks good. You know, it's not going to be 100%. I mean, it's a machine that's obviously been used, but also the paint as well. And I could do my conditioning process and bring that luster back. Would that be enough? And Sandy said, yeah, absolutely. So kind of went through that process of what does the customer need, what machines are out there that are available, and eventually I was able to source this one from, I'm trying to remember, North Carolina. So again, Sandy is from Arizona. This machine I finally identified came from another fellow trusted collector, but it came from North Carolina, so almost coast to coast. My customer's out in Arizona, real close to the West Coast, and this machine came from the East Coast. You know what? That's just the way it goes sometimes. I'm not going to pick just the first machine that I find. I'm going to go through a vetting process, and ultimately I'm going to pick out the cream of the crop for the customer so that they can get a machine that has very clear provenance. Again, aesthetically, it's going to look really solid, kind of like the one that I sourced for Super B, who lives out in Las Vegas, that 201-2. Remember, she was like, I don't care about how it looks. I just want it to sew a perfect stitch. Well, I went through my vetting process and I finally found a machine that was not only gorgeous, drop dead, switch that, reverse that, was not only drop dead gorgeous, I feel like Willy Wonka and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, switch that, reverse that. But it also, when I get done with it, it's just going to sew up a storm. So that's just the perfect scenario. Plus, the customer can relax and not have to be on all the various websites with their fingers and toes crossed, just hoping that they find an honest seller, that they find someone that is not going to pull the wool over their eyes and give them a machine that is going to basically have a lot of problems. And unfortunately, that's happened to a lot of my customers, where they go to, Goodwill online, they go to Etsy, they go to Bonanza, they go to eBay, wherever it is, and someone is a real sweet talker and sells them a machine that ends up having a lot of problems, and ultimately that customer has to incur the additional cost of then sending that machine to the workshop after it's already been sent to them by this charlatan type seller, or if not a charlatan type seller, just an ignorant or an unknowing seller that is in the business to make to turn a quick buck, but doesn't know a thing about sewing machines. And there's a lot of them out there, folks, a lot of them. So let's start to do some unboxing on this. So that first song that I just played for you might be curious is called Staycation. And the next one is called Jazz Mango. Jazz Mango. This ought to be fun. Oh yeah. Yeah. Listen to that bass. Listen to that bass work the tune, man. Nice. All right. Let's get to work on this and see what we find. So not a bad box, but I'm feeling some play on the box. So I hope we don't have any issues. Hope we don't have any issues. Well, we might not have a sewing machine, but we definitely have large white eggs. Large white eggs. Yay. I was just saying I haven't had eggs in a while. How about you? If you come to the workshop, we'll have to cook up some eggs. Although they might be kind of like in what is the movie that I love so much? It's kind of a Peter Pan movie with Robin Williams. And he as an adult has forgotten how to be a kid, how to use his imagination. Finally, he sits down to this huge banquet table with all these lost boys, and he finally remembers how to imagine things. And then all of a sudden, this empty container is full with beautiful eggs that they can cook, not in the movie, but I'm just saying the table is all of a sudden that was empty is filled with this banquet of yummy food that Robin Williams starts to dig into with all of the lost boys, and he starts to get his childhood back in him as Peter Pan and blah blah blah. Anyway, check out the movie yourself. But for right now, we're gonna continue this unboxing. And it looks like this fellow collector friend of mine really had a love for large white eggs, but they didn't send me any. What's that about? What's that about? I don't get any large eggs, Elizabeth? Really? Elizabeth, by the way, is the fellow collector out in North Carolina, and generally I've had real good success with her. She's not always the greatest packer, and if she watches this premiere, she's probably going to be like, well, that's kind of true. And I've talked to her about it. I've even pointed her towards the channel and said, watch my packing videos for God's sakes, so you don't have to roll the dice in sending machines all the way from North Carolina to the workshop in Oconto, Wisconsin, hoping they arrive safe. I know you insure them, but I don't want to deal with all that crazy insurance junk. Just pack the machine, for goodness sakes. I really probably don't yell at her like that because she's been doing this a long time. And she's got some great machines as well. All right, let's see how close we can get here. So here we have Elizabeth trying to use some of these airbags, basically. And we have one that's kind of full, one that's popped, one that's almost completely drained, one that's full, and one that's absolutely popped. So again, you know, if you're going to use something like this, then reinforce your packing job with something else as well, because these things just have a real... I used to deal a lot with packing materials and stuff back when I had another business that was sending products all over the country. And I learned the science of how do you evaluate the thickness of plastic with how many mils it is. And they obviously, when they make these airbags, and this is by fillair.com, fillair.com, or Fillair Extreme, they also go by. They must use a real thin mil count as far as their plastic when they make these airbags, because inevitably, when customers use these, almost without fail, they're always 60% of the airbags are popped by the time the machine arrives. And that's not a good ratio. You know, if it were the other way around where 40% of the airbags were popped, okay, maybe we can work with that. But 60%, and I think I'm being conservative, it might even be higher than that. Maybe closer to 70% of airbags that arrive packed with machines are popped. So they need to spend a little bit more money in their production phase and make those airbags a little bit higher mil count as far as the plastic they're using. Yeah, I'm saying it to you guys. If you're listening, if you're watching this. All right, so we just heard Jazz Mango, and we are stuck in fruits now because the next one is Jazz Apricot. I'm not making it up, folks. Jazz Apricot. Yeah, baby, yeah. All right, let's see if we can... I'm going to pull out another one of these airbags. Filled, popped, and popped. So here we had less than a 50% ratio. We had 3 popped and 2 good. So any of you that are mathematicians, type in the chat what percentage of good we had, or bad, either way. So, but you can just tell, I mean, you can just tell how cheap the plastic is that they use. I mean, you can just squeeze it a little bit, usually, like this, just basically 3 fingers. Pop. 3 fingers. Pop. All right, forget about working out the ratio, because now they're all popped. Oh, gosh, I had too much coffee today. Better watch it, I'm going to cut my table here. All right, so it looks like Elizabeth used kind of a box-in-a-box method. Didn't have much padding around the inside box to the outside box. If you're going to use this method, you definitely want to have a nice thick barrier of about oh, I would say at least 2 to 3 inches around the inside box, and we definitely didn't have that. So it looks like Elizabeth may have bought, what is this, a printer? She may have bought a printer and decided to use the box. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the Canon Image Formula DRC2252. Blah, 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 blah. Also, Elizabeth, if you're watching this, Elizabeth again is my collector friend out in North Carolina. You've got to secure the inside box too, dear. You got to secure it. Right now I've got a tab, and other than that, stretch wrap it. Use strapping tape. Put some bubble wrap around it, for goodness sakes. Come on, Elizabeth. You've been doing this a long time, dear. A long time. All right. Let's get this outside box out of the way. And our next song is Stay Golden. Stay Golden. Elizabeth, well, this is not even, what is this? This is not even padding. This isn't afford, what did you go grocery shopping or something or what? And by the way, we razz each other a lot, so she takes us in stride. She totally takes us in stride. Well, maybe. All right, I'll be good. I did have some rhythm going there though, right? That was sweet. Well, this is not going to be much of an unboxing because Elizabeth really didn't encapsulate this machine at all. Jiminy crickets. You may be able to see it already. Type it in the chat if you can see it. Type it in the chat. That was a sweet tune. I like that. That was really nice. Okay, so I'm going to continue the unboxing, but this is going to be done lickety-split. So that was called Stay Golden. The next one is called Jumpin' Boogie Woogie. Jumpin' Boogie Woogie. Here we go. Oh yeah. If you're not up and dancing, shame on you. Come on. Listen to that bass. Oh, listen to that! I'm not even going to try to fake that. I can play piano, but not like that. Woo-hoo! Oh, man! Nice! All right, let's continue the unboxing. How can you not dance to this? If y'all aren't dancing, then what is wrong with you? Good gravy, Aloeti. Perfect timing! Well, you probably have it in the chat by now. Yes, it is the big sister to the featherweight. The big sister to the featherweight. The 301. The 301. This is not a 301A. The 301. And you know what, Elizabeth did a horrible job of packing it, but all in all, I'm very pleased with the machine specimen, at least at a first glance. Although, and she was right, she told me it's going to need wiring. It's going to need wiring, Scott. And that was absolutely the truth. That was absolutely the truth. Oh, okay. It's one of those style. So I'll kind of show you the wiring, and she told me about this in advance. She said the wiring is horrible. You can kind of see this right here. Yes, we have that's bare wire sticking through. Bare wire sticking through. Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, all of the wiring here is just a mess. You can see the power cord plug-in point as well. So definitely before this becomes a potential machine that I would consider sending to, we've got little pieces of something here. I'm hoping it's just, yeah, it's just pieces of the cord, because the coating is basically totally disintegrated. Set this off to the side. And when we go off the tripod, we can look at this a little bit closer. But again, this is a machine that I can work with. You need a little bit of touch up on the handle, but all in all, the decals are in real good shape, just as Elizabeth told me. Yeah, we can work with this. We can work with this. It's going to be a real solid machine by the time I get done with it, obviously. Even now, it's not, I mean, it's not apart from the electrical, the wiring, it's definitely not a machine that needs as much work as mine did. Matter of fact, I could even bring mine into the shot and show you. Well, I am loving that last song, didn't you? I hope you were up and dancing. I really hope you were. That was Jumpin' Boogie Woogie. And now we've got The next one is called Avent Jazz Disco Ultra something. It's too long for showing on the screen. Let's hear what this sounds like as I grab my other 301 that I was thinking about using, but I thought, nah, it's just going to take way too much restorative work right now with the load in the workshop. I just can't devote that time and get this ready anytime soon for the customer. So I ended up sourcing one, which I definitely know was the right choice. All right, here we go. I already gave you the title. This is what it sounds like. All right, I'm going to put this one on the left. Boy, that was a short song. I don't think we got our money's worth on that. I'll kind of let you look at these, and then you'll see kind of why I went the direction that I did. If I weren't real busy right now, I may have considered doing new paint and everything on my machine on the right. But I just have so much going on right now that there's just no way. And I can zoom in on these a little bit after I pick a song that actually plays longer than 20 seconds. Okay, 41 seconds. I stand corrected. So the next one is called Digya, D-I-G-Y-A. Here we go. Yeah. I'll take me another little dose of this. So you can see mine is pretty much absent of decals. Plus the paint is in pretty rough shape. And yes, I could make this look absolutely gorgeous, but it would be about 30 to 40 hours minimum just to get it coming the right direction. Yeah, pretty much no decals left at all. And then we go over to the machine that I sourced for Sandy. Night and day, or switch that, reverse that. Night and day, a big difference, I'll be able to get this machine ready much quicker for Sandy once it makes its way to the workbench, which will be hopefully quite soon. But I waited quite a while to get this machine. So it hasn't been at the workshop very long, but I'm going to try to get it turned around and then eventually premiered for Sandy quite soon. And Sandy shared a real cool story that she included in a separate box that she shipped to the workshop. And I'm going to share that with you. I'll wait until our blues maraca type music ends here, which hopefully will be soon. I'll get something set up while this is finishing up. I'll move my very troubled 301 out of the way. And I don't have, as much as it might surprise you, I don't play with dolls a lot, so I'm going to do my best to set this up properly, hopefully without sending Sandy into trepidation that I'm doing something incorrectly. There, that went better than I thought it would. Just making sure I have everything. Yeah, we'll kind of go like that maybe, huh? Just checking the box to make sure I didn't lose anything or forget anything. There we go, that's a better angle for that horse. And this young lady. And I can already hear you either saying or typing. Get closer, we want to see them. So let me read to you what Sandy wrote, and I will do my best to do it justice. And when we talked on the phone originally about me sourcing a 301 or a 301A for her, here, I'll come out a little bit so you can see the machine as well. She mentioned that she had this doll and this horse, and here's what she included with that box, and kind of shared the story of what's behind it. So she writes, "Hi Scott, so what's up with Annie and Josie? It's sort of autobiographical. I'll keep it short." Well, come on now, really? Is that short? Maybe that's short. That's almost something we could submit for a contest, though. So she says, "I'll keep it short. I grew up on the south side of Milwaukee. And those of you around the world that don't know anything about Milwaukee, duh, I think you do. It's obviously located in Wisconsin, and it's like the beer capital of the world. At least it was. So she says, I grew up on the south side of Milwaukee in the 50s. The only subscription magazines that came into our home were Reader's Digest and Arizona Highways. I spent the end of summers with my buddy Heidi from across the street playing with Horsey. This was all backstory. Hours spent deciding on the name, the color, and the life history of our horse. Mine was always mostly black and named something like Lightning or Ranger. Josie's name was because she was born in a snowstorm, and Joe the ranch hand warmed her up and got her standing, and then she has in brackets, aside, I just realized that this is a stallion while cleaning her up, so her name is now Joey. Yeah. Let's not be calling a male horse a girl's name. That's just, it's a new world, I get that, but yeah. Then it happened. The grand tour of the West in my dad's new DeSoto. We did it all. The North Dakota Badlands, Yellowstone bears, Snake River trout, Mount Rushmore, bison burgers, Custard's battlefield, and the Mormon choir in South something, SLC. And there were wild horses and burros everywhere. I was smitten. This was better than Arizona Highways. After graduating from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, I headed forever across the Mississippi, teaching in Texas 4 years as a fire lookout in the Washington Cascades, where I met Dick, the best of husbands. We moved to Montana and did our real careers at the Montana DOT in Helena. Somewhere about here in time, my parents brought me the toys that had been packed into the attic of the family home, including my horses and dolls. My mom had a very large and well-organized attic. God bless her. In 2007, I was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. To celebrate finishing a hard radiation course on a tumor in my pelvis, Dick bought me Rio, the Wonder Horse. Only 18 months old and too young to ride. I did groundwork with him, discovering that he really is much smarter than I am. Animals prove that to be true all the time, don't they? As it happens, before I could ride him, my pelvis shattered from the radiation, leaving me partially paralyzed on my left side. So it was time to retire and move out of ice and snow country. In 2010, we bought our home in Sedona and moved the dogs, the cat, the bird, and the Wonder Horse. At Rio's stable, all the horses, about 30, wear fly masks all summer and don't like them much. While I can't ride Rio, I can repair and maintain fly masks for him and his pals. My Singer 201 does a pretty good job of this, but the FOF 30 is the power hitter, able to get through very dense materials. I want the 301 so I don't have to change out heavy-duty thread, needles, presser foot tension, etc. when I switch out projects. I made a bunch of COVID masks for neighbors, friends, and relatives, and was working on horsefly masks at the same time. The Black Beauty 301 will join my stable of great all-black vintage machines. The FOF 30, the 130, the Singer 201, 1591, and 221. I loaned the 221 to the neighbors. If all goes as planned and the 301 is everything I'm hoping for, yeah, it will be, perhaps I can reduce the herd a bit. So Annie and Joey are going back to Wisconsin to corral Black Beauty, the 301. So Sandy has already named this machine in front of you right now. And she's going to be called Black Beauty, which is also a beautiful name for a horse, obviously. So she sent Annie and Joey all the way to me at the workshop here so that they could corral Black Beauty and bring her back to the spread in Arizona. Also, they just wanted to do a trip, but not in the winter. We're looking forward to her arrival, Sandy. And then she just puts a quick postscript just letting me know kind of what was in the box. So, we've got Joey on the left, we've got Annie on the right, and we have Black Beauty in the rear. And what a fun thing to do, Sandy. I really appreciate your putting all this together. Getting the Annie and Joey out here to the workshop so that as I did this unboxing, I would be able to introduce them. And I'll introduce them again, obviously, when the machine is ready and finished, finalized, and we do some premiere confirmation sew-offs with her as well. So really a cool way to introduce this Singer 301 that came from North Carolina from my fellow collector friend Elizabeth, that I sourced specifically for Sandy, not knowing at the time that she had already named the machine, even then, was already naming the machine Black Beauty, and that she would be sending out her two friends from her childhood, Joey and Annie, to corral this Black Beauty and bring it all the way back to Arizona. This is almost something you could write about for a contest. I'm going to keep this in mind. Not for 9,000 because we're already going to be going to Norway for that. And maybe not for 10,000 because I have a plan for that as well. But maybe for 11,000 or 12,000 if we get that far. I hope we do. Yeah, we will. You know we will. You keep sharing the channel, you keep passing it along to other people that pass it along to other people that pass it along to other people, and all of a sudden we've got this incredible sustained growth because of what you're doing. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. I certainly couldn't take this channel to the level that it is without your help. So I'll just mention real quick, if you don't remember the stats and particulars on the Slant-O-Matic forerunner of all the other Slant-O-Matics, which is the 301 and 301A, because they were the first slant needle machine that Singer ever did. So they've got that bragging right. Both the machine that I already took off the workbench that's from my personal collection, which is a 301A, and also Sandy's machine that you see in front of you with Joey and with Annie, that is a 301. Well, let me remind you again about the particulars on those models. And that is that the Singer 301 started in 1952. And there were only in the 1 year that they made the 301s. They only made 301s for 1 year, folks. And then, done. That was it. They were gone. Whatever was made was made. Well, we already know what was made, 185,750. That should be a quiz question. Sometime randomly in the future, I'll just say, how many 301s were made back in 1952? And one of you really smart people will come into the chat and go, duh, 185,750, Scott. Didn't you know that? Well, yeah, I knew it because I shared it with you, you silly sailors, you. But I didn't know if you remembered it. But you probably would. So what's the point? I'm dealing with such a smart audience. I can't trick you. I can't, well, whatever. So the 301 was made only for 1 year. The year of 1952, they made 185,750. And then starting in 1953, and it ran much longer, from 1953 to 1957. The 301A, like the machine I had on the workbench before that belongs to me, the 301A was made in that period from 53 to 57, and 514,250 were made. 514,250 were made between 1953 and 1957. And all of the 301As, if you don't remember, were made in Anderson, South Carolina. So this machine I sourced from my fellow collector friend Elizabeth from North Carolina is pretty daggone close to where they were making the 301As. Right over there in Anderson, South Carolina. But this 301 was not made in Anderson, South Carolina. Do you remember where they made the 301s for that 1 year period that they made them? Again, how many did they make? If you said 185,750, you were paying attention. Good job. They made them in Elizabethport, New Jersey. So we had the 301s in that year of 1952 being made in Elizabethport, New Jersey, and then starting in 1953 until 1957, we had the 301As being made over in Anderson, South Carolina. And if you don't remember, we had a very, very distinguished gentleman that I had the privilege of interviewing, Frank Wilson, who actually visited the Anderson, South Carolina plant while he was running a Singer sewing machine store, and then eventually started running his own store after he left Singer. So what a neat part of the country. I wish I had been able to jump into a time machine and go back into the 1950s and just travel around and see what was happening between those two sites, you know, in Elizabethport, New Jersey and Anderson, South Carolina. It had to be absolutely amazing. Just as amazing as that video that we shot when we visited the Singer plant in Scotland. Do you remember that? We visited there, and it's posted on the YouTube channel. Look it up if you haven't watched it yet. It runs a little bit over an hour, and everybody that's watched it is just like, this is absolutely amazing. And I already loved my Singers, but now that I've seen how they made those machines, just the complexity of the operation of what it takes to put together a Singer sewing machine, when they watched that that video that we shot in Scotland of the Singer plant, they were like, I absolutely love my machine to death now after seeing what that machine had to go through with the molten lava and everything, that they pulled it out of the ashes and boom, there it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to say scary stuff like that in front of you, Annie and Joey. I saw you shudder a little bit. I saw you kind of shook in your boots. Are you wearing boots? I think you're wearing, at least the horse is wearing boots. Hey, Joey. Boy, Annie is beautiful, isn't she? She's got a little thing in her hair, though. I'm going to have to... Annie, we got to do something with your hair, hon. Quite an outfit. Look at her outfit. Isn't it spectacular? She even has a lasso. Look at... She's ready to go to... You know what? You better not mess with this gal. She knows how to use the rope, and she's got some... Now, Annie, I mean, realistically, any of you ladies watching, more so the ladies than the guys, this is a rootin' tootin' tough gal that has a lasso, and she probably even has a 6-shooter underneath that little bag that she's carrying and stuff. And she's roughing it out there, riding horses, you know, going through the dirt and all that. How are you keeping your boots that are white that clean? I mean, really, we all want to know. And if any of you ladies have secrets of you could be like Annie and be out there rough and tough and all that kind of stuff and still keep your boots looking that good, then type it in the chat, and whoever types it first, you know, with your clever little secret of how do you keep them that white with all the dirt, the mud, the blah, 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 you know, I'll probably send you something special. Yeah, I will. And no, I'm not going to send you Joey or Annie because Sandy would absolutely kill me. So I'll send you something else, maybe one of the coffee theme mugs or one of the LED lights or something like that. But yeah, I just, yeah. And even Joey, I mean, I know you knew you were going to be in this unboxing and be on camera, but you guys don't even look like you've been out to the country. I mean, realistically, this machine has this 301 that was made where again? Yes, Elizabethport, New Jersey. Back in when? 1952. Yes. This 1952 301 behind you, Annie and Joey, has more dirt on it than you do. I mean, really, it does. So anyway, we got to dig deeper on that and just find out if are you guys like city cowboys or what's the deal? Because yeah. Anyway, let me put on some more cool music, and then we'll kind of go around this machine and take a little bit closer look. Let's see here. So the last one I think we did was Dig Ya. And the next one is called Carnassa Groove. Carnassa Groove. Yeah, this runs a little while, so we can break away and go around this machine real quick that came from North Carolina. North Carolina. And also we can get a little bit closer look at Annie's boots, because I'm just not buying it that she's been doing anything out in the country. I think she's been out at the mall. Yeah, okay, all right, I'll give Annie a break. I hear y'all. So let's get a little bit closer to this machine that eventually is going to be heading out to Arizona. And yes, this, if you didn't know it, this 301 does have a feed dog drop. See what I mean? There's more dirt here than on Annie and... Okay, I'll let it go. But there's more dirt here than on Annie and Joey's boots. There is. So if you didn't know it, the 301 does have a feed dog drop, and this is it right here. this little knob. It's going to be similar to the Featherweight. I should say it's similar to the Featherweight 221. That's going to have a similar knob like this to drop the feed dogs. And then the 222 is going to have a lever near the stitch controller on the front of the machine that lowers the feed dogs. And I think Hans shared that in the last premiere when we were announcing who the winner of the Singer 12K was. Yeah, I'm almost positive he did, because Hans recently acquired a 222, which is the free arm version of the Featherweight. But yeah, the 301 has a feed dog drop, just like its little sister, the Featherweight. I'm liking this music. So yeah, you can kind of see the dirt. Whoops, I just tipped over. Sorry about that, Annie. That was totally an accident. I wasn't being aggressive because you guys are so clean. Seriously. Sorry, Joey. So, so we got a little bit of chalkiness on the paint that I'm going to have to clean up, obviously. But we've got a beautiful 301 here in order to restore. That's going to be spectacular for Sandy. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can take that light apart and put an LED light in there, maybe. So this is the only paint loss that real paint loss that I can see on this machine that Elizabeth sent me, is right here on top of the handle. You can kind of see that in the shot. So I'll address that as well. All right, let me turn this around real carefully so I don't knock over Annie and Joey again. And yes, the faceplate does open on the 301 if you didn't know that. So we're going to kind of take a peek in there as well. Yeah, Elizabeth isn't quite as persnickety about cleaning the innards of the machines that come out of her personal collection as Paul is. But all in all, not a bad job, Elizabeth. Wow. This is called Smooth Jazz Night, and boy, it should be called Loud Jazz Night. Good gravy. Yeah, some beautiful decal work on this machine. Hi, Andy. Hi, Joey. You guys are too clean. All right, I'll let it go. Let it go. All right, so finally at the workshop. Oh, and I was going to go a little bit closer to this as well and show you guys. Do not plug this in. 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 Do not stand in water and plug this in. Boy, that ended kind of abruptly, didn't it? Yeah, so really the biggest thing is the wiring on the machine is something that will need some extra TLC. All right, the last song that I have here, we'll kind of wrap up this premiere with it. Did I already play this? I don't know if I played this already. Oops, I went the wrong way. Don't you hate that when it happens? All right, this last one is, oh, this is going to be really long. All right, let's put on my fun song again. The one that I really love, the Jumpin' Boogie Woogie. Let's do that, and we'll bring out Mr. Bean with Annie and Joey. Yeah. You ready to do some dancing, Mr. Bean? Yeah, you are. Whoa, I'm liking those moves. Annie and Joey, you can, I know you're on camera and you're kind of camera shy, but you can move a little bit maybe, huh? Look at Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean knows what's it about. Yeah. Woo, yeah. Oh, you just, how can you not love that bass? How can you not love that bass? I didn't know you had it in you, Dr. Singer. Look at you. Ha ha! Yeah, baby. Woo! I think he's playing piano. Come on, Annie and Joey, you guys got to do something here, serious. All right, maybe the next premiere. All right, well, stay tuned for other fun premieres like this where we do some really interesting and cool unboxings with a big story behind it. A real cool story that Sandy shared with us. And we dance, we sing, we get our groove on. It's what we do here. It's what we do here. Yeah, and we're not going to apologize for it, are we? All right, God bless. We'll see you again.